This is Tommy John, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
You can put it on the board. Yes!
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, and of course the king of all, those gigantic and massive cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Best in the business, as far as I'm concerned. Probably be the best you ever have as well. Check them out at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com. Or give them a call. Find out what's for dinner at 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935 for UppercutChops.com. Yes! All righty. Welcome in to everybody listening in on our affiliates from CBS, NBC, Fox, and all of our independents as well from coast to coast. Everybody listening in, or better yet, and watching on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, and Time Warner Cable and WOW Cable affiliates. Thanks for joining us also on Hotel TV in all Nielsen-rated markets, in upscale hotels and resorts. Really good stuff. As well as on Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Make sure you like and follow Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Yes! Okay. And you know, we're right in the middle of the Midsummer Classic time, right? So it's kind of like the all-star break time of baseball, and it's the middle of everything. And guess what? Usually when they have these big festivities and whatnot, well, what do? They usually start a game off or something like this with the national anthem. So without further ado, this is the national anthem from the Home Run Derby on Monday night at Globe Life Stadium in Arlington, Texas. And here we go.
Rise if you're able, and kindly your caps for the presentation of our nation's colors by the Texas Department of Public Safety Honor Guard. Now to perform the national anthem, please welcome four-time Grammy-nominated country singer-songwriter Ingrid Andress.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed by the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh my. Oh my. That was, here, we'll give her a round of applause for effort. I have to say that I've never heard the national anthem done just like that before. And I have to tell you, I probably don't want to hear it like that again. Mercy! Who is Ingrid Andress is the question. According to CBS Sports, Home Run Derby national anthem singer draws harsh criticism. And yeah, that was remarkably interesting. Let's just kind of leave it like that and let's get to the article itself by CBS Sports. They say the 2024 Home Run Derby is taking place. Of course, actually, it had already taken place. And that was, in Arlington, Texas. I'm befuddled by this. I'm sorry, folks. I'm absolutely befuddled by it. I can't believe what I just heard. It sounded almost as rough as Roseanne Barr's rendition many, 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 many years ago. Anyway, that rendition was preceded, of course, by the Home Run Derby. However, the singer, four-time Grammy nominee and country singer Ingrid Andress is the one that did the singing. And CBS says, good get for Major League Baseball. Right? I don't think so. With all due respect to Miss Andress, who is wonderfully talented and surely delightful as a country singer, her rendition of the Star Spangled Banner was not good, CBS Sports says. I'm sorry, but it wasn't. We're all thinking it at its best to be said. Well, guess what? Everybody has an opinion. And Mike Axisa is the one who wrote this article from CBS Sports. So if you have a complaint to Mike Axisa. Nonetheless, the national anthem ahead of the 2024 Home Run Derby on the Four Letter Network by four-time Grammy Award nominated artist Ingrid Andress was interesting, to say the least. And of course, there are a bunch of opinions on X. And so, at Awful Announcing, left a picture. And it's not really good. Anyway, they say, yeah, not great. Nothing unites the masses quite like a butchered national anthem. And of course, the internet has jokes and a sampling. Alec Boehm. They showed Alec Boehm on the video feed, of course, the third baseman for the Philadelphia Phillies. And Alec was trying to hold back, seemingly, the tears of laughter. You could see him smirking and couldn't really put his hand over his mouth, but it was obvious that he was chuckling. And even his ex comment was the crying, laughing face. And so, moving on, another one, Royals Review. At Royals Review just basically says, move over Carl Lewis. And they posted a link. And in fact, the link, we're doing this live here, folks. So if this is something that we can play here, hopefully it is. If not, we may have to cut something out. But we're going to try to go ahead and leave it as it stands. In fact, it may be another rendition from, it is. And here's Carl. Oh, actually, it's just a GIF. And so they're making fun, they're teasing Carl Lewis, but at least he put forward a good effort. So at The Good Fight, that's PHIGHT, of course, they basically had said a similar thing. And then Fergie passing the torch to Ingrid Andress for worst national anthem of all time at Rogue Oranges. Another one from Lord Benny, at Lord Benny, John Benny. I knew Ingrid Andress was doomed when they announced her as a four-time Grammy nominee, but not an actual winner. Moving on, from Nope Vibes, Leslie and Ope. Off-key vocal fry exploding like rocket's red glare. Another one at DGTN Teacher. I'm assuming the Grammy nominations were instrumental. That's a round of applause, of course. I mean, look, end of the day, Andress is 32, broke in through with her single, quote, More Hearts Than Mine, close quote, in 2019, and her studio album, Like Ladylike and Good Person. She opened on tours, including Keith Urban's 2022 The Speed of Now World Tour, and headlined some of her own. Her father, Brad Andress, was a strength and conditioning coach with the Detroit Tigers, Colorado Rockies, New York Mets, and University of Michigan. That doesn't qualify her to sing the national anthem. And so the writer from CBS Sports says, I sincerely wish Miss Andress all the success in the world. Hopefully the national anthem exposes millions to her music. I'm not really sure what music you're talking about. But that was clearly the worst rendition of the national anthem that I've heard in a very, very long time. It was horribly, in my opinion, off-key. The timing was off. The octaves were so far off. And it was a very big departure than the Star Spangled Banner as we know it. And I have to say, folks, I was just befuddled listening to that national anthem. And I couldn't bear to possibly listen to it again. And I won't. And I won't subject everybody here on the Sports Circus to listen to it again. If you want to listen to it, go find it on pick your favorite social media. I'm sure you can look in your Google search bar or DuckDuckGo or whatever you use, and just go ahead and play it. Again, if you're a glutton for punishment or you like different, this is different. And different isn't always good. That's for sure. And by the way, when we come back from break, we will break down the Home Run Derby just a little bit. We won't talk too much about it, only because we don't want to burn too much time on something that absolutely has no meaning for the game of baseball other than hitting baseballs that are juiced by guys that shouldn't be in the Home Run Derby in the first place. Back here in a few minutes on the Circus. Lots more to come.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC Sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Could you use a little extra money right now? If you'd like to borrow up to $100,000 and get pre-approved in minutes, call the number we'll give you at the end of this commercial. Our lending partners have already loaned millions of dollars to individuals just like you, and we're ready to lend you up to $100,000 if you qualify. Even if your credit is not perfect, you could use the money to pay off high-interest credit cards, for home renovations, or consolidate existing debt. You can get flexible, easy-to-pay terms. The consultation to find out if you qualify is free. To find out if you qualify for our special financing program, call this toll-free number 24 hours a day. 800-335-1376. 800-335-1376. 800-335-1376. That's 800-335-1376. Important terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Loan amount, annual percentage rate, and term will vary depending on creditworthiness. Applying does not guarantee approval. Account approval is subject to verification and confirmation of your credit history and acceptance by a lender. If you choose to apply for a loan through us, a consumer report will be obtained to evaluate your creditworthiness in connection with your application for credit.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Thank you, Roy, and welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the MTV studio, AAMP.TV. Folks, this segment brought to you in part by our friends over at the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out at csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, csncoyotes.com. And welcome back to everybody listening in on our affiliates, all of our network affiliates from coast to coast, and all of our independents. Big hello to our friends over in Atlanta, WDJY 99.1 FM, and of course Auburn, Alabama, WAUD 1230 on the AM dial. That's home of the Atlanta Braves. And also welcome in to our friends in Honolulu on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the New York Yankees, San Francisco 49ers, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. All right. And also everybody else watching on our affiliates. That is from Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Time Warner, Oceanic, and WOW Cable Television, as well as Hotel TV, plus Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. All right. Now back into this with the Home Run Derby. Now here's an interesting thing. So we had a horrible rendition of the Star Spangled Banner from the outset. However, sticking with CBS Sports, we have a new Home Run Derby champion as Teoscar Hernandez. He took home the crown for the first time. In fact, the Dodger star was the last slugger standing out of the field of 8, outlasting Kansas City Royals cornerstone Bobby Witt Jr. in the finals at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. And of course, because of the new format, no home run derby record was set, though Hernandez did hit an impressive 49 home runs en route to winning the event. Hernandez, the 7th Dominican-born player that is Dominican Republic-born player, so I think CBS needs to fix that. Nonetheless, the 7th Dominican Republic-born player to win the home run derby edged out Alec Bohm in the semifinals, while Witt eliminated Jose Ramirez to reach the finals. So here's a look at how the home run derby bracket shook out. So in the first round, it was the top 4 advancing. Alec Bohm had 21 homers. Jose Ramirez from the Cleveland Guardians, that is, had 21 home runs. Bobby Witt Jr. from the Royals had 20. Teoscar Hernandez had 19. And eliminated in the first round were the big home run hitters. Adolis Garcia, the local guy from the Texas Rangers, he's gone. Marcell Ozuna from the Atlanta Braves, he had 2 less at 16. Pete Alonso, the 2-time champion, he only hit 12 for the New York Mets, eliminated. And Gunnar Henderson comes in last place with 11 home runs from the Baltimore Orioles. Now, that's a little bit strange, but in fact, it looked like the results were probably upside down to what everybody thought. In fact, under the new format, players had 3 minutes or 40 pitches to swing away in the first round. Plus, they were given 3 bonus outs in which they could hit as many homers as possible before making 3 outs. Players could earn a 4th bonus out with a 425-foot homer in bonus time. And the top 4 home run totals advanced to the semifinals. Now, of course, the semifinals paired Teoscar Hernandez and Alec Bohm, and it was Hernandez just by 1 home run, just beating Alec Bohm 16-15. In fact, it was in a swing-off. They were tied at the end of regulation and then at the end of the bonus time, so they each got 3 swings, and it was Hernandez 2 homers to Bohm's 1 homer. And in the other semifinals, it was Bobby Witt Jr. over Jose Ramirez. And so Witt Jr. put on a really nice show, and he is a very, very good player. The guy can hit some long, long shots, too. Now, the 4 remaining players were seeded 1 through 4 based on their first round home run totals. And, of course, the longest first-round home run was used as the tiebreaker. So Bohm got the number 1 seed over Ramirez, then met head-to-head in a 1-4, 2 versus 3. And, of course, time limit, pitch limit, and bonus were all basically the same as the first round. In the finals, it was Teoscar Hernandez, 14 homers over Bobby Witt's 13. And Bobby Witt had 1 swing, 1 chance to tie it up, and he hit the base of the home run wall and just couldn't do it. He had warning track power, as they say, and the final two went head-to-head for the crown. In the finals, Hernandez and Witt were given only 2 minutes and 27 pitches to hit as many homers as possible. Same bonus outs rules as the first round and semis applied. And of course, and here now are 6 takeaways from the event. Now, Hernandez is the first Dodger to actually win the Derby. So he needed overtime, though, to reach the home run derby, and Bohm finished the semifinals tied with 14, and, of course, sending them to a 3-swing swing-off. Hernandez advanced with a 2-1 win, as I mentioned. And so the swing-off was the first since Albert Pujols and Kyle Schwarber from a couple of years ago. Hernandez is the first Dodger player to win the home run derby, and he was only the second Dodger to reach the finals. Jock Peterson lost to Todd Frazier in Cincinnati in 2015, and that was one of the most memorable home run derby finishes ever, according to CBS Sports. Now, Bobby Witt went where no Royal has gone before. For the first time ever, a Kansas City Royal reached the home run derby finals. In fact, Witt is the first Royal player to ever make it out of the first round of the derby itself. Oh, yeah. Anyway, he came within a few feet, as I mentioned, hitting the base of the wall, but tying Hernandez, but just fell a little bit short. So close. Witt grew up about a half an hour away from Globe Life Field, and he had said he expects to have about 100 friends. So he expected 100, and he had about probably more than that for the home run derby and for the All-Star game. Ultimately fell short, but I'll tell you what, this guy is really good. A bigger shock was Alonso exiting early, and he looked awful. He just couldn't seem to get together. In fact, Alonso, seeking his record-tying third home run title, was eliminated in the first round. Not only that, but his 12 home runs were the second fewest of any player. And of course, the four-letter network cameras caught Bohm playfully saying just what everybody thought as Alonso wrapped up his round. And I'm not sure any player in the game enjoys the home run derby as much as Pete Alonso, according to CBS Sports. And I'm guessing we'll see him going for his third title again next year. For now, Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. remains the only 3-time home run champion. Now, Adolis Garcia got knocked out quite early as well, which actually was a big shock to me. That was last year's ALCS MVP, and the star of the hometown Texas Rangers was also an early exit like Alonso. He was officially eliminated when Ramirez, the third to last hitter in the first round, surpassed his total of 18. And the last hometown player to win a home run derby was Bryce Harper in 2018 when he was still with the Nationals. Now, the fans in right field got left out in the cold for the most part because you had dead pull right-handed hitters out there. And, I mean, look, not literally. It was over 100 degrees as far as being left out in the cold in Arlington at the first pitch. But there were 6 right-handed hitters in the derby, so the vast majority of home runs went out to the left side of the field. And, of course, there's a very interesting spray chart showing all 225 homers and most of them being buried to dead left field. In fact, last year, there were 7 righties in the home run derby. The last year before that, there was a nice balance with 4 apiece. Should Major League Baseball make an effort to even out the playing field is the next question? I don't know. I just think the best qualified guys should be out there. I don't care if they're all lefties or all righties. Who cares? I mean, I don't really think it's that big of a deal. And it's hard enough to get star players to participate in the home run derby anyway, especially with the home run derby hangover. Guys that go into it hitting the ball like wildfire, then they come out in the second half. They end up playing like a $1.50. Anyway, I have to think about buying a right field seat maybe for the next home run derby, then watching most of the home runs go to the other side of the ballpark, which I certainly wouldn't doubt, because that's the kind of luck that sometimes it happens when you go out to a game. Well, this is kind of what happens, especially when you go out to the All-Star game, because you never know what the hell's going to happen. Just when you think X is going to happen, Y ends up happening. And unfortunately, the new format certainly cut down on homers as well, too. And so the new home run derby format has a 40-pitch limit in the first round and, of course, in the semis, and 27-pitch limit in the finals. So we do see less. And, of course, in a seemingly direct correlation, there were significantly fewer home runs hit this year. All told, the 8 players combined for 225. Last year, they combined for 341. Kind of a big difference there. In 2022, it was 291. So end of day, no player hit more than 21 in a round this year. Last year, there were 11 individual rounds with at least 21. New format took away homers, and of course, it's home run derby. What fun is that? Look, what fun is that I could tell you is that from the announcing standpoint, the home run derby started, I think, in 1985, if I'm not mistaken. And it sort of has gotten to the point where, like the slam dunk contest in the NBA, when it comes to NBA All-Star time, the slam dunk contest has kind of lost some of its luster. I think the home run derby has lost some of its luster. You don't have Chris Berman calling the home run derbies anymore with his back thing. But honestly, the home run derby is losing its luster. So, well, hell, let's go ahead and juice the ball up and see if these guys can hit a 500-foot homer. But we didn't really even see that. We didn't really see any big home run bombs. But we're seeing the luster of the home run derby go away in much the same way as, of course, that slam dunk contest. There's only so many home runs you can hit that bedazzle people. There's only so many slam dunks that will bedazzle people. And I think early on, it was fun to watch those. And this is more like, okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to catch a ball, we're going to get it authenticated, and then we're going to try to sell it in these card shows, which I went to one recently. I'll tell you a little bit about that when we come back from break. But I really believe that, honestly, it was a little bit boring. Wonder what you think. Give us a call and find out. Let us know. 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Let us know what you thought of the home run derby. Back in a few minutes, folks. Don't go anywhere. I'm your Ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime, nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it on here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. For the last time. That's 800-950-2049.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. You've got to remember to do your testing and always need to stick your fingers to test your blood sugar. The new way to live your life with diabetes is with a continuous glucose monitor. Apply a discrete sensor on your body, and it continuously monitors your glucose levels, helping you spend more time in range and freeing you from painful finger sticks. If you are living with type 1 or type 2 diabetes and you use insulin or have had hypoglycemic events, you might be eligible for a CGM through your insurance benefits. U.S. Med partners with over 500 private insurance companies and Medicare. We offer free shipping, 90-day supplies, and we bill your insurance. Call us today for a free benefits check.
800-659-7805. 800-659-7805. 800-659-7805. That's 800-659-7805.
That's ridiculous.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for upcoming guests, our prior guests, our recorded shows, which are a podcast. And, of course, make sure you check out that upcoming guest schedule for July 23rd. It's going to be with legendary frontman and lead guitarist for Blue Oyster Cult, and that would be the great Buck Dharma. Yes! Blue Oyster Cult's been a hit machine for decades and decades. I think they started back in 1971. Everybody, for the most part, knows their music. Great stuff. In fact, we might even break some new music on the show as well. A press release will go out with it as well, so make sure you tune in on that date for the great Buck Dharma. All right, great stuff. All right, welcome back to everybody. You know who you are, TV and radio. And continuing on with baseball, you know, there's been an ongoing issue with umpires. Everybody knows that. So, in his infinite wisdom, Bryce Harper offers a solution for Major League Baseball umpires. Now, I'm not really sure what that solution is, to be honest with you. Well, I mean, I know what it is, but how viable is it? That's what you really got to ask yourself. I don't know if it is legit. I don't know. How does anybody really know? But he says, you know what? Bryce Harper offers a solution for umpires and their issues that involve raising salaries for really good umps, right? Show me the money! Of course. It's all about what? The mighty dollar. Okay, Bryce, you got, I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars at this point, and, well, good for you. Anyway, again, CBS Sports out of Arlington, Texas. Bryce Harper has an idea, and he wants balls and strikes as accurate as possible. Well, you think? No kidding. So, Phillies superstar acknowledged that a challenge system for balls and strikes, which uses ABS and has reached AAA this season, but he said, let's consider using something like that if it's done right or if it's done the right way. But he has a different idea, too. He says, quote, I enjoy the human aspect of the game. I do. It just has to be done the right way. And I don't know what that would be. But the one thing I think, if you're a really good umpire, I think you should get paid more and that you should umpire more than one game a week behind the plate, even if we don't have the challenge system. If the better umpires are behind the plate all the time, I think it's better for baseball, close quotes. You think? Well, that's rather insightful of you, Bryce Harper. Anyway, umpires are graded by the league office, a division headed up by Joe Torre in his role as a special assistant to the commissioner. Better grades mean more postseason assignments, obviously. But this is an interesting idea, apparently, allegedly, according to CBS Sports. If they were going to put the best balls and strike callers behind the plate more often, that would invariably mean some of the lesser umpires, at least in terms of strike zone accuracy, would be used behind the plate sparingly or not at all. Oh, so what you're saying is maybe they would be used where? Oh, that's right. Making calls at second base, third base, making bang-bang calls at first base. I don't know. I mean, what are we talking about here? We're talking about umpires that are a little bit questionable in the first place. As for the graded pay system, that's also interesting. Would it incentivize the lesser balls strikes callers to improve their craft even more than simply shaming them for missed calls? I'm not so sure. Let's be honest, umpires always want to get things right anyway, and you aren't going to find an ump who is awful at calling the strike zone who doesn't care and doesn't want to be better. Still, an interesting idea. When Harper was ejected in the first inning of a game back in May for arguing calls of balls and strikes, he offered up the following after a game. Quote, I wasn't trying to get thrown out, was just having a conversation. There are guys who are professionals in this league. They understand it. I guess home plate umpire Brian Walsh didn't understand it. Close quotes. What do you make of that, folks? What do you make of that? I don't know. I mean, look, everybody is going to question balls and strikes. The thing is, you can't question the umpire directly on balls and strikes because that gets you an automatic ejection. Under Harper's proposed system, it's very likely Walsh would not have been behind the plate for the game. Given that he's relatively new and hadn't scored out well behind the plate in the first place. Would that fix everything? Maybe not. But incentivizing people to be better at their job never hurts. Okay. And I can tell you just from my own experience of having been squeezed as a pitcher, what I mean by that is the strike zone actually gets smaller, right? So maybe the umpire doesn't like you, and suddenly, magically, when you throw the ball, what was a strike before is now a ball. And so umpires do have biases towards players. And so you have to ask yourself, how does that bias work? Is it financially driven? No. I think it's driven by personality. It's driven by familiarity, not necessarily of you, but of what the person's habits are that the calls are being against, whether they're balls or strikes. And so ultimately, it's relationship built and it's skill driven. Not every umpire is going to be behind the plate every game or behind home plate every game. They will rotate and they go on crews. There's crew chiefs, etc. and so forth. One of the worst of all time, in my opinion, was Angel Hernandez. And he conveniently, allegedly, retired, but somebody had mentioned, I don't know the truth, but somebody mentioned that he got paid to leave Major League Baseball. Paid to retire. I don't know. I wasn't there. It's above my pay grade. But you know who didn't get paid? Let's switch over to MMA. How about Nate Diaz? Nate Diaz files a $9 million lawsuit against Fanmio after a boxing win over Jorge Masvidal. How do you like that? But you can call him George. Now, earlier this month, Nate Diaz defeated Masvidal in an action-packed boxing match in front of 18,000 fans at the Honda Center over in Anaheim. And Diaz and Masvidal are primarily known for their star turns in the UFC. But their fight was highly entertaining and received acclaim from fans and media, of course, because there's money involved. Anyway, it offered late career combat possibilities to both. And of course, that was the good part of what was eventually and essentially a novelty bout. The bad part? Actually, believe it or not,
Show me the money!
getting paid! Now, of course, just 8 days after success in the ring and the minds of onlookers, Diaz filed a federal lawsuit in the Southern District of Florida against Promotion Fanmio, Inc. and its president, Solomon Engel, alleging it owes Diaz $9 million for the appearance in the fight. That's ridiculous. In fact, a request for comment from Fanmio was not yet returned, and according to the lawsuit, Fanmio agreed Diaz was to receive $10 million for the fight with, quote, $1 million paid up front and the remaining $9 million paid immediately following the event, close quote. Diaz and his representatives, the suit alleges, repeatedly expressed concern about Fanmio's ability to fulfill the contract, but were assured via written and verbal promises that the remaining $9 million was in a secure independent account and ready to be transferred. And of course, the suit reads, quote, Diaz would have never participated in the event if the representative had not received the foregoing assurances from Fanmio and Engel via their attorney, close quote. However, the suit alleges Engel had since told Diaz representatives that the event did not achieve the financial success expected, especially on a pay-per-view, and payment is impossible. So, the suit reads, quote, Fanmio and Engel are now reneging on their written and oral promises and guarantees to pay $9 million owing to Nate Diaz because they claim they are going to lose money on the event. In a flurry of desperate calls to Diaz representatives following the event, Engel despondently groveled that he was going to lose more money than he anticipated on the event if he paid Diaz what he had promised and that his wife might divorce him because of the financial losses. Engel went so far as to threaten he might have to declare bankruptcy to avoid paying Diaz what he owed. There is nothing lower or more despicable in the world of boxing than a boxing promoter who allows a fighter to put their health and safety on the line in a boxing event so the promoter has the chance to make tremendous profits only to later renege on paying the boxer following the event, close quote. Masvidal and his team are not a party to that lawsuit. In fact, Fanmio is in a promotion business. In case you may have guessed, in South Florida, per its website, they were involved in numerous high-profile events, including a 2021 exhibition, boxing match between Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul, 2022 slap fighting that presented along with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Look, there's a real big problem here, and I guess the court is going to decide whether Nate Diaz gets his $9 million or not. Back here in a few minutes, going to shift into football. Lots more to come. Don't go anywhere. I'm your Ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime, nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it on here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.
If you served in the Marine Corps, by now you know about the contaminated water problem at Camp Lejeune. If you were stationed or worked at Camp Lejeune from 1953 to 1987, you probably have a lot of questions. We have some answers. You could be entitled to compensation. Billions of dollars are being allocated to pay for damages to anyone stationed at Camp Lejeune during that time. Unfortunately, it appears that officials may have known the contaminated water problem existed and did little to protect their men. The Semper Fi Code was not honored. If you or someone in your family has developed a serious illness, including various forms of cancer, call this Camp Lejeune legal support line right now. You can't turn back the clock and change what happened, but you can certainly call right now and learn your rights as a Marine. Here's the number.
Call 800-335-7196. 800-335-7196. That's 800-335-7196.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. And a big thanks for everybody tuning in on all of our network affiliates. We appreciate that, whether it's radio or television, also even on Facebook. Thanks for joining us from Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. In case you don't know what that is, folks, check it out. Go to Facebook and just type in Chicago Food Favorites. and participate. Have some fun with it. There's some favorite restaurants posted out there. Post your favorite restaurants, and hell, maybe your favorite recipes, your favorite, I don't know, the favorite foods that you like. And in fact, you don't have to be from Chicagoland. You don't have to be in Chicagoland. We have people from literally all corners of the world. That is for all the flat earthers out there. Nonetheless, from all parts of the world that participate at that page on Facebook. So make sure that you have some fun and participate with it. All right, now shifting over into football. How about this one? We have a quarterback list. And it is allegedly the four-letter network. They have a top 10 quarterback list as labeled system quarterbacks. Actually, no. One particular guy is left off because he is not in this top 10 because he is labeled a system quarterback by the four-letter network, which I think, in my opinion, it really stinks. But then again, that's just my opinion. And there's all kinds of commentary on this. And I'm tempted to let this play because this one is by NBC Sports. In fact, I think I'm going to let this play, see if I can get this thing to play. And we're going to see what NBC Sports has to say about this in just a moment here.
The question is this it? Is this the last dance? Is this when the window closes? And, I mean, what are your thoughts on the window?
I don't think it's a window closing on the 49ers' ability to win a Super Bowl, but I do think it's a window for this core group of players that have been around, as Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's tenure has started and kind of rolled on. This core group of players that's been together for quite some time, and I'm talking George Kittle, Fred Warner, Kyle Juszczyk, Nick Bosa, and, Christian McCaffrey's a little bit newer one, Trent Williams. This core group of players is getting a little bit older. And, you kind of got that indication from Kyle Juszczyk, when he was at the Super Bowl and when they lost. He realizes he's in the twilight of his career. He wants to play as long as he can.
It's buffering. Hang in there, folks. I don't really know if this is going to come back, but if it does come back, this is NBC Sports talking about Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. In fact, what we're going to do is we're just going to leave that one there. And then we're going to go on. This one is according to NBC Sports Bay Area. Now, they say, despite his stats topping the leaderboards and taking the 49ers to the Super Bowl in his first full season as the starting quarterback, Brock Purdy can't seem to earn the league-wide respect he seemingly deserves. And he also can't escape certain labels. So, on top of being called a game manager, for most of the 2023 NFL season, Purdy's secondary tag is a system quarterback. That one was one of the reasons that he was left off by the four-letter network survey of league executives, coaches and scouts who ranked the top 10 quarterbacks ahead of the 2024 season. And of course, an NFC executive said in the survey, quote, "He's very good at navigating the pocket, buying time, using his legs. You're not going to win because of him in most cases. He's a really good system quarterback," close quote. Now, Purdy instead was declassed to the honorable mention list behind Jared Goff, Dak Prescott, and C.J. Stroud. Imagine that. So Brock Purdy led the NFL last season with 113 passer rating while throwing 31 touchdowns and guiding the 49ers through a strenuous NFC playoff path to the big stage of the Super Bowl 58. And additionally, Purdy has a 17-4 regular season record and is 4-2 in the playoffs, and he earned Pro Bowl honors in just his second NFL season. He also ranks at the top of several league metrics in 2023, including yards per attempt, 9.6, yards per completion, 13.9, and a passer rating of 113. Those are pretty good numbers. Now, despite all of this, those non-believers believe 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan's system and offensive scheme make it easy for the young quarterback to find success. I don't agree with that. In fact, while the truth could be any variation thereof, Purdy could benefit under Shanahan's play calling, of course, it's what the Iowa State product, who went from Mr. Irrelevant to Pro Bowl quarterback, has done with his opportunities is really what matters. And of course, a separate NFC executive said, quote, "It's hard to call him a top 10 based on the guys ahead of him, but it's hard to keep him out of the top 10 too. He willed the team to the Super Bowl. Only right to give him serious consideration." Close quote. That's a pretty tough crowd. I mean, look, who's ahead of this guy? I don't know. I mean, how is he not a top 10? How is he not a top 10? Who are the top 10? That's the bigger question, right? So you say, well, geez, I don't know. I mean, who's the top 10 in the grand scheme of things of this quarterback list? All right, so we'll go with a quick few, of course, with Mahomes. And then you're going to have Jackson. You're going to have I'm thinking Brett Favre. You're thinking Aaron Rodgers. You're also thinking Joe Burrow. And that's 4 of them so far. How about Jake Allen as number 5? Trevor Lawrence would, in my opinion, be a number 6. I don't really know who is much significantly better than Brock Purdy at that point. Now, we're only down to 6. I don't know. I mean, you might throw 1 or 2 ahead of him, but this guy's clearly a top 10. He's a top 10. I mean, who would you put ahead of him? Would you put Stroud ahead of him? Stroud's got 1 year. Only 1 year. Sophomore slump could be coming. You never know. But I don't know. I mean, I don't really see him not being on this list. I think, frankly, it's an embarrassment to the NFL for this guy not even to be included. Of course, consider the source. That was ESPN. That's why I call them the 4-letter network. I don't think those guys have a damn clue of what a top 10 quarterback is. This is their article, and it was redistributed by them. Of course, they could have spun it any way they want, but NBC Sports Bay Area is on the dissent side of it, saying, hey, wait a minute, Brock Purdy is better than a system quarterback. And I think they're right. I absolutely think they're right. And so, look, it's a good thing that Purdy doesn't focus too much on the outside noise, whether positive or negative. He just focuses on playing football and helping his team win games, something he's already proven to be quite capable of. That's all this guy does is win games, generally speaking. Now, of course, well, let's go from a not a good story to a really not good story. And Jacoby Jones, former Ravens Super Bowl hero, has died, quote, peacefully at his home in New Orleans, close quote, at the age of 40. Now, you may remember Jones' 108-yard kickoff return in Super Bowl 57. That's the longest return in postseason history. Nonetheless, former NFL wide receiver and return man Jacoby Jones died. His family confirmed, this is by a statement provided by the NFL Players Association. And the Jones family confirmed Jacoby passed away peacefully at his home in New Orleans. He just turned 40. In fact, they say in the statement, we want to express our gratitude for all of the thoughts and support you have shown us during this challenging time. Your ongoing support and respecting our privacy means a lot to us. We're deeply saddened to share that Jacoby Jones, a beloved former Ravens football player from New Orleans and a proud graduate of HBCU, has passed away at the age of 40. In a statement, the Jones family confirmed that Jacoby Jones passed away peacefully at his home, as I mentioned, and the family, including his mother, Emily, and his son, little Jacoby, are together and are asking for prayers, privacy, and support as they navigate through this difficult time. Now, of course, the Baltimore Ravens also released a statement sharing their deepest condolences, etc., like everybody else. Now, Jones is most famous for his heroics, as I mentioned, for a big 108-yard kickoff return in the Super Bowl. But what I'm curious of is, what the heck did this guy die from at 40 years of age, and they say peacefully at home? Now, I don't know about you, but the average man in America, if I'm not mistaken, lives to be 76 years of age. So something happened that caused his death that nobody wants to talk about. And me personally, of course, I wonder about people taking that non-FDA approved experimental drug injection when there was that so-called pandemic rumbling around. I wonder if he took the shot. It's just my own opinion, or it's my own curiosity. I don't know anything. I'm just saying that's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. I wonder if he took the shot, and I wonder if that may have caused some heart issues, because a lot of people have died similarly from complications from things conveniently a couple of weeks or so after a particular shot or down the road. And that's the thing that I'm wondering about. Of course, we'll never know about that because that's very well hidden by the blue team and, of course, by all of those big pharma companies and the government who, obviously, those organizations, they did what? Oh, that's right. They coerced people into taking these non-FDA approved experimental drug injections, which magically a lot of people seem to die conveniently right after taking those shots. According to VAERS, the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, that is I guess that is a bigger issue that somebody needs to look into, but I don't know. I just think it's a bunch of nonsense, and I don't know how a 40-year-old dies peacefully at home when that makes no sense. Anyway, finally, Minnesota Vikings Jordan Addison was arrested on suspicion of DUI in Los Angeles. Oh, yes, and this just happened. So Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence last Friday night, the California Highway Patrol said, just a couple of nights back or so. In fact, according to a police report, the Los Angeles Communications Center notified the CHP of a disabled vehicle blocking a lane of traffic on the 105 freeway near LAX. Officers reported approaching a white Rolls-Royce with the driver asleep behind the wheel. What? Asleep behind the wheel, and the CHP patrol spokesperson confirmed the driver was asleep when the officers arrived. Addison was arrested at approximately 11:36 p.m. Following a DUI investigation per the report, he was released at 1:36 a.m., literally 2 hours after. And, of course, the Vikings said in a statement, quote, "We're aware of Jordan Addison's arrest this past Friday and are currently gathering more information regarding the incident," close quote. What is it with the NFL? What is it with the NBA? What is it with these players? It seems like they have problem after problem. Oh, that's right. They get so much damn money that it seems like they can make their own rules and do whatever the hell they want to do. This is ridiculous. How about some controls on these overpaid alleged athletes? How about that one? Back here in about 23 hours on your favorite station. Until then, so long, everyone.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.